Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Deja. I'm 19. My favorite hobbies, as you can tell by this video, are reading. And I also love plants. This is an avocado tree right next to me. And today, I'm gonna be telling you my top tier books. I love books so much. Back in middle school, I had that phase where I was like, I'm too cool to read. I'm just gonna scroll through my phone all day instead of reading. And then in high school, 2 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna start again. Why not? So I started with a series and I read 2 more series that year. And I read 13 books, and this was in 2021. And I was like, wow, I am on a roll. And then I started in 2022, I ended up reading 50 books. No one really cares that I read 50 books last year, but in my mind, that is a big flex. I'm like, wow, you did that. So, out of all the books I've read, and currently it is March 17th today, and I just finished my 12th book of this year. So out of all those books, I have come up with my list of my top tier ones that I think everyone should read. Okay. So, first, I don't have them with me, so I'll just insert a little picture right here. It ends with us and it starts with us. They're just so beautiful. If you don't know, they're by the author Colleen Hoover. She's really popular right now, and my friend, she was like, hey, I have a book you should read. And she said, it ends with us, and I was like, okay. And she had me read one of the spicy scenes, and she's like, see, I think you should. I'm like, okay. And then I found the book at Goodwill for like $1, and it was so beautiful. One of the best books I've ever read. I love when they have a little hidden message in them. I just think that's so beautiful. And yeah, her books are they're probably not for everyone. I know there's people out there that don't like them, and that is okay. But they always have a message behind them. Usually it's something about love or like heartbreaking things or abuse. This one was about love and abuse, and it was just really powerful to read because she gets you really in love with this character that the main character is dating, and then you see his bad sides, and then you kind of feel like you have to decide who you're rooting for. Like, do you want them to stay together, or do you feel like she needs to leave that because that's an abusive relationship? And it's a very good book, very powerful. I've read it twice because I just felt like I needed to read it again, and it was just as good a second time. And then It Starts With Us is the sequel to It Ends With Us, and It Ends With Us was kind of very sad at times. It was a very like sweet story at times. It was just very sad. So It Starts With Us, the author made that one so that you had like a sequel, but more of a happy sequel because of the guy she ends up with. I'll tell you that. You gotta go read it. It like shows them how their life is together after this first book, and it's just as good. I own them both, but my friend is currently reading them right now. I love having them in hand, just like show you, but I let her read them right now. That's okay. And then next is the series that I read back in 2021. It is so beautiful. The first one is The Towering Sky, and then the first one is the 1000th Floor, and then The Towering Sky, and then The Dazzling Heights. I'm pretty sure. I'll insert them right here. They're just these beautiful, kind of like futuristic. I don't know if you'd say sci-fi. I don't think sci-fi, but like futuristic. They're in this, and it's about teenagers in their lives, and they're in this 1,000-story tower that's right in the middle of New York, and it's like over like a mile in all directions, like all around, and then they built like this entire new community in this building, and on the very top floor, in the 1000th floor, lives one of the main characters. But it's nice because it switches back between separate characters and their different lives. And then she's just living in a penthouse on the top, but then she has her own issues. Like, you think her life is perfect, that's what everyone thinks, but then you see her side of the story and everything is not perfect. But it's very cool how it gives you the viewpoint of the girl on the very 1000th floor and then a girl on like level 32. So it's kind of like the slums, they call it in the book, and just how different their lives are. But yeah, all these different people, they become interconnected, and it's just very cool to read. I read the second book back in middle school, and then I didn't know it had a whole series, so that's why I read the whole series 2 years ago, and I love it. I don't want to just buy the books because it's probably like $40 for all three, so if I ever come across them and I thrift them, I'm so gonna get them and put them on my bookshelf because they're really good. And then like the covers are metallic. Oh, so cool. Okay, next is Where the Crawdads Sing. This one, it has my heart. It is just so beautiful. I read this last summer in 2022. My grandma had been wanting to read it, so she bought it and then let me read it, and I just fell in love with it. It's just unlike anything you would ever read, because it's just about this girl that lives in the marsh, and then about her, like, she doesn't have any family. She grows up without family, and then the few people that she meets but then grows really close to, and there's a murder involved, and it's just crazy. But it was a very beautiful summer read. I loved it. And then the movie came out a couple months later, last fall, so I went and saw that, of course. Not as good as the book. I recommend you read the book. If you already saw the movie, I'd still recommend reading the book. But, so that one's beautiful. Next, another one by Colleen Hoover. This is November 9th. I just love Colleen Hoover. Her books, I just read them so fast. I just go, because they're just so good and they just intrigue me, every single one. Even if the story, I've read about 9 of her books, and I think about 2 of them were just okay, but still caught my attention the whole way. But then at the end I was like, I didn't really like love that. But this one I do love. It's about a guy and a girl, that's how most of them are, and they met on November 9th, and then they decide she's about to move to New York and he's gonna stay where they meet, and they just have such a connection that they want to keep like in each other's lives. So they decide to meet on every November 9th going forward, and then they do that for I think about 5 years, because she wants to wait till she's like 23 before settling down with someone. So they meet every November 9th, and it starts off so good, and then you got a little plot twist, and then you got a really big plot twist, but so good. I definitely recommend. Next, yeah, you guessed it, it's another Colleen Hoover. This one is Without Merit. This one is kind of hard to describe. I would just say it's just crazy. It's just pretty wild, honestly. It starts off, it's just about a family. Well, the main girl, but she's in a family, and she meets this boy, and he thinks that she is her twin sister and kisses her, and that just kind of sets the whole thing. And they live in an old church that they remodeled, even though they're not religious at all. And it's really crazy, but honestly such a good read. All of Colleen Hoover's books, I read them in like 1 to 3 days because they're so good. But this one, I remember for some reason to finish it, I just sat down on my couch and read the last 300 pages of it in one sitting, because it's just so good. And then, I don't know, this one is about, I don't want to spoil it. kind of about suicide a little bit. Very sad, but just so captivating and so intriguing. And I have one more, and it's kind of just a random one. I actually just thrifted it, but it ended up being really good, and I just picked one off the Goodwill shelf and then read it. But it's Where We Belong by Emily Giffin. This one is just so cute. It was just so heartwarming, and you know, sometimes you need to read like a little thriller in between heartwarming ones, but this one is just so beautiful. It's about a girl, and I love when they switch the perspectives of people. So it's about this girl that was adopted, and she doesn't really feel like she belongs with her family, her adopted family. So she's on a mission to look for her adopted mom. To look for her real mom. And then so you get like the viewpoint of her, and then the next chapter will be of the mom. And then they finally, like, they meet, and then she seems like she's different from the mom at first, and she's a little worried. But then once she meets the mom and the dad, she sees like her qualities, each of them, and then it's just a very beautiful story. And I had my friend read it, and she said it was amazing as well. So yeah, so I just love books so much, and not many people enjoy talking books with me. So I mean, if anyone out there, if you're watching this and you stayed this far, I think that means you like to read. So we could be friends that just talk about books, and that just sounds awesome to me. So yeah, these were my top 9 books, my 9 top tier books. I wish I had them all with me, but I don't, and that's okay, because I'll show you pictures of what they look like. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it if you made it this far, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.